श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। The chapter 10 translation, chapter 11 Bhagavad Gita translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So today we are beginning the chapter 11, which is the universal form. Okay, just a brief overview about the chapter before we go dive into, very short. So after completing the 10th chapter, which is all about the opulences, the vibhutis. And vibhutis, Krishna has been speaking about his vibhutis, opulences, his potencies, his energies all the while. But in the 10th chapter, he made it very clear about his vibhutis in various categories, like in sages, in mountains, in rivers, in elephants, in horses, in yajnas, in austerities, then in priests, in sages, and mountains, they say that. Yeah, in animals as well as, so many categories Krishna has indicated his vibhuti, which is the opulences. That means all the great, anything that is very great in a particular category, that is a representation of Krishna. It doesn't mean Krishna is that, but it is a representation of Krishna. So having spoken thus, so far it has been 10 chapters of Krishna and Arjuna speaking, exchanging the dialogue. Now in the 11th chapter, Arjuna asked specifically to show his vibhutis. Whatever he has just spoken about his opulences, his forms, and all that, he said that it's just a spark of my splendor, I sustain this entire universe. So understanding that part, it's not about the doubt, but Arjuna wanted to see such form. Why? Because in the at that time also there were many people, pseudo gods, so to say. Poundra is another example. At that time itself, he was saying he was the Supreme Personality of God. He was God, not Krishna. So if you can imagine, when during the time of Krishna itself, there can be pseudo people who can come and say, claim as gurus, as gods, what would be the status of the upcoming generations? So to dispel all that, Arjuna asked him to display his vibhuti, or whatever he has just said, just display that. So far it has been theory. Arjuna wanted to see in practical, like how it is, how Krishna is that splendor of the spark of the entire universe, how he is maintaining the entire universe with just a spark of his splendor. So he wanted to understand that. That's why he asked him, show me, display the universal form, because no one else can claim that he is God. So as soon as, so we know, now we know, as soon as someone says, I am God, or I know everything, I am representative of God, then we should say, tell him, show, display your universal form. Because Krishna has done that. And Arjuna ensured that nobody else can come and say that he is God. Immediately he will dispel his myth saying that he is God. Once we can ask him to display his universal form. So Arjuna is trying to do that. Show your universal form so that I will also, take a look at that only if you allow me to, because it's not easy to look at that kind of form. Nobody can look at it with normal eyes, with the eyes that they have. It has to be special jnana chakshu. I mean, not even jnana chakshu, it's a special drishti has to be given. And that's what happened. Arjuna, Krishna gives him special sight. And there with Dhritarashtra, where Sanjay and Dhritarashtra are having a conversation about this Bhagavad Gita, that what was being narrated to Arjuna by Krishna. Sanjay is narrating that to Dhritarashtra, right? So Sanjay is also given that side, because who knows, if Arjuna has been given, Arjuna is his friend. He might have say, yes, I got the sight, I saw it. But then there has to be another person also who can say that, yes, I saw that too. And that has to be an independent person. So that's Sanjaya. Now Sanjay also saw that, and he is narrating that to Dhritarashtra. And that has been documented in Bhagavad Gita. So two people are witness to see that universal form, and there were other people also. So this is the gist of this chapter, basically, that Arjuna is asking Krishna to display his universal form, and then Krishna displaying it, and then what happens we'll see in the verses. Sure. Chapter 11, Universal Form. Text 1. Toshi Mataji, can you repeat after me?
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah. Arjuna Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam
Arjuna Uvacha Mad Anugrahaya Paramam
Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam
Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam
Yat Vayoktam Vachastena
Yatvayoktam Vachastena
Mohoyam Vigatas Mama.
Mohoyam Vigato Mama.
Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential subjects, spiritual subjects, my illusion has been now dispelled. Please read the purport, Mataji.
This chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of the Mahavishnu, from whom the material universe emanates. Krishna is not an incarnation. He is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. Now, as far as Arjun is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means that Arjun no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as a source of everything. Arjun is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. But now he is thinking that although he may accept Krishna as a source of everything, others may not. So, in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Actually, when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened, like Arjun. But Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he covers himself again into his original form. Arjun agrees to what Krishna has several times said. Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So Arjun acknowledges that all this is happening to him by Krishna's grace. He is now convinced that Krishna is the cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as a super soul.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So first verse, Krishna, Arjuna is saying, because I have heard all your instructions that you have given me, which are on mostly subjects of confidential matters, like right from the eternality of soul, which is soul is spirit, not a matter. Where did that subject matter come across so far from various studies that we have done? Only in Bhagavad Gita. So it is in one way a confidential matter. So like that, and starting from that until the 10th chapter, he has given him so many instructions, and which has dispelled Arjuna's illusion also. So in the 10th chapter, he says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Paritram Prabham Bhava, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Ahustva Mrishya Sarve Devarshi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Brahmisini. Now you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the greatest. He's describing him, and not only me, the great sages Asita, Devala, Vyasa have already said, and now you're also telling. So you are the greatest. So my illusion is completely dispelled. So in one sense, Bhagavad Gita is complete at this point, because Arjuna had a doubt about what to do, his duties. Then Krishna has explained him 10 chapters of this knowledge, and he has come to that point where Arjuna's illusion has been dispelled. In one sense, Bhagavad Gita is finished here. But then, if Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual, again, the same problem may come up. Everyone will come up and say, I am the source, I am the power, I am this God, so everyone accept me. And will come with this set of followers. So just so to curb that in the future, Arjuna wanted to see his universal form. Although his illusion is dispelled, he's not doubting about Krishna's position. He wanted to see his position so that everyone else will believe it, not just him. Like that. Then Krishna and Arjuna continues to speak. Srinivas Prabhu, you want to repeat after me, please?
Sure, Mataji.
Bhava hi bhutanam
Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam
Shrutau vistaraso maya.
strutau vistaraso maya.
Sorry. Shrutau vistaraso maya.
Shrutau vistaraso maya.
Twathaha kamala pratyaksha.
Tvatvaha kamala pratyaksha.
Twataha kamala patraksha.
Tvataha kamala pratyaksha.
Mahatmyam apicha vyayam.
Mahatmyam apicha vyayam.
You can read the word to word for this one. Bhava, appearance.
Bhava.
Apyayu, disappearance. He, certainly. Bhutanam, of living, all living entities. Shrutau, having been heard. Vistarasaha, in detail. Maya, by me. Tvataha, from you. Kamalapatra aksha, O lotus-eyed one. Mahatmyam, glories. Api, also. Cha, and Abhyayam, inexhaustible. Translation. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Okay, please read the purport, Prabhuji.
Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as lotus-eyed. Krishna's eyes appear just like the petals of a lotus flower out of his joy. For Krishna has assured him in previous chapter, Aham Kritasya Krishnasya Jagat Prabhava Pralasya Tata. I am the source of the appearance and disappearance of this entire material manifestation. Arjuna has heard of this from the Lord in detail. Arjuna further knows that in spite of his being the source of all appearances and disappearances, he is aloof from them. As the Lord has said in the 9th chapter, he is all pervading, yet he is not personally present everywhere. This is inconceivable opulence of Krishna, which Arjuna admits that he has thoroughly understood.
Yeah. So Krishna has Arjuna is referring Krishna as lotus-eyed. Kamala, Patra, Aksha. Kamala is lotus. Patra, Aksha is lotus like leaf, like lotus like leaf. Aksha is eyes. So I have understood, I have heard about you in detail from about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and I have realized your inexhaustible glories. So he's again just Arjuna's same theme continuing, that I have understood it. I have got my illusion dispelled in different ways. Is expressing his actually ecstasy, because having heard Krishna's vibhutis, Arjuna is in ecstasy. Oh wow, it is such splendorous to hear about Krishna's vibhutis in various manifestations. And he wanted to express his, sometimes in this chapter also, he will flutter. When he's speaking, he will repeat the words. Again, that is his, right now he's in that ecstatic form. He's wondrous. He's feeling like ecstasy in the heart. That's why he wants to see Krishna's form. So he's saying, in spite of his being the source of all appearance and disappearance, he wanted to, like in theory he is understood, but in practical he wanted to see. Actually, it's not that Arjuna is doubting, because Krishna is his friend. Again, we said that it is not because he's doubting, it is because he wanted to see. Because sometimes it helps to see the theory also, right? We speak so much of the matter, like someone has to show it to us, to display it, so that we can understand it better. Practical experience helps us much better than understanding the theory. So, like that, then in one stroke with the practical, then you will understand everything what you have heard. So much of theory will become so much clear, like that. So now he continues. Still, he continues on the same theme. Debbie, you can recite after me, please, the third verse. Evametad yatattvam
एवमेतद् यतत् अत्तत्तत्त्वम्
atmanam parameshwara
आत्मानं परमेश्वरा
drashtum ichchami te rupam
द्रष्टुम् इच्छामि ते रूपम्
aishwaram purushottama.
ऐश्वर्यं पुरुषोत्तमा.
O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Please read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is inspired by the statements of Krishna, but in order to convince others in the future who may think that Krishna is an ordinary individual, Arjuna desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. Arjuna's addressing the Lord as Purushottama is also significant. Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is present within Arjuna himself. Therefore, he knows the desire of Arjuna, and he can understand that Arjuna has no special desire to see him in his universal form. For Arjuna is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. But the Lord can understand also that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others. Arjuna did not have any personal desire for confirmation. Krishna also understands that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to set a criteria. For in the future, there would be so many impostors who would pose themselves as the incarnation of God. The people, therefore, should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim to the people.
So this is the situation. This is what mindset of Arjuna. It is not just because he's doubting his position, but to convince people in the future who may pose as imposters. And also Krishna and Arjuna wanted to understand, because he said, with my splendor of spark, I maintain and sustain this entire universe. What is there to know so many vibhutis? Like, these are just a spark, like a sample of my manifestations. So Arjuna wanted to say how he does that when he enters into this cosmic manifestation, how he enters, how he sustains that is what he wanted to understand. And then he says, give me that sight. If you so I can handle that sight, give me that sight. Otherwise, because that sight is not easy for one to see. Sonal Mataji, can you repeat after me?
Yes, Mataji.
Export. Manyase yadi tachakyam
Manyase yadi tachakyam
maya drishtum iti prabho
maya drishtam iti prabho
yogeshwara tato mitvam
yogeshwara tato me tvam
darshayatmanam avyayam.
darshayatmanam avyayam.
If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. Purport. Please read, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. It is said that one can neither see, hear, understand, nor perceive the Supreme Lord Krishna by the material senses. But if one is engaged in loving transcendental service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Every living entity is only a spiritual spark. Therefore, it is not possible to see or to understand the Supreme Lord. Arjuna, as a devotee, does not depend on his speculative strength. Rather, he admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. Arjuna could understand that for a living entity it is not possible to understand the unlimited infinite. If the infinite reveals himself, then it is possible to understand the nature of the infinite by the grace of the infinite. The word Yogeshwara is also very significant here because the Lord has inconceivable power. If he likes, he can reveal himself by his grace, although he is unlimited. Therefore, Arjuna pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. He does not give Krishna orders. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless one surrenders fully in Krishna consciousness and engages in devotional service. Thus, it is not possible for persons who depend on the strength of their mental speculations to see Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Correct.
Thank you, Mataji.
So here Arjuna is expressing his humility. If you kindly, you can show me your unlimited universal self. This is the way to approach Krishna to reveal himself, right? Again, Krishna is not revealed to anyone who poses to him um, in a challenging spirit. So Krishna is revealed from within. It is not like Krishna can be seen. Krishna is perceived from within, right? You understand Krishna based on your sadhana that you do, and Krishna reveals to the extent that you have performed, purified yourself. So that revelation happens from within. Not that we have seen Krishna and now we are performing devotional service unto him, right? We have not seen Krishna in that personal form, but we have seen his deity form. So to the extent that we have realized or purified ourselves, Krishna is revealing, that is from internally. But right now, Arjuna is asking him to see him externally. He wants to see his personal, that universal form. And the method to approach Krishna to reveal is in a very humble state of mind, right? Very humbly, with lot of humility. He says, kindly, if you think my eyes can see it, if you think my sight is enough for you to see that, please grant me your vision so I can see it. This is the way to approach. We cannot demand Krishna. So many people say, show me God. Where is he? If he is there, ask him to show. Ask him to come in front of me if he is there. So why do you think God should reveal himself to such a person? Right? You cannot see an ordinary politician when you want him to be seen. What do you think you can see God? Just like that, just because you don't believe that he exists, and just because you ask him to come, will he come like that? No, he will not. For such kind of persons, he will say, okay, I am not there for you. I will not even reveal myself that I exist. So in any opportunity, he will ensure that he will not be revealed to him. So that is how Krishna's power works. If you say there is God, there is no God, fine, it is not, God is not there. However you want to perceive me, I will reveal it to you in that way. If you think there is no God, he will say, okay, fine, you will be like that only, that there is no God. But to see God, we have to see through our shastras, Shastra Chakshushu, and through Acharya's vision, through the scriptures, we have to see God. And now Arjuna is asking him to reveal because he wanted to see that Yogeshwara potency. This he says here, right? Yogeshwara tato metvam. You are Yogeshwara. Yoga Ishvara is Lord of all mystic power. So it is Yogeshwara, and then there is Yogi Ishvara. You know what's the difference between Yogeshwara and Yogeshwara?
No, Mataji.
Like a stump question or what? Yogeshwara is Krishna, Lord of all mystic power. Yogeshwara is Lord Shiva. He's Yogi. He's the Ishvara of all yogis. He's Yogeshwara. So that kind of word, when you see, Yogeshwara is Krishna, Lord of all mystic. It is yoga. Yoga is all the mystic powers, right? Ishvara is the Lord of all mystic power. Yogis, of all the yogis, Lord Shiva is the greatest yogi. So he is Yogeshwara. So one cannot give orders to Krishna. One has to surrender in order for him to reveal it to us. Okay. Now Krishna starts to speak. Okay. No, he won't just reveal himself right away. He will give him some theory also before he reveals himself. So that's what he's talking. He will reveal in few verses after. Shalini, you can repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashyame Partha Rupani
Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Pashya me Partha Rupani
Shatashota Sahasrashaha
Shatasho Atha Sahasrasha
Nana Vidani Divyani
Nana Vidhani Divyani
Nana Varna Kritini Cha.
Nana Varna Kritini cha.
Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, O Samaprita, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms. Please read the purport.
Purport, Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in his universal form, which, although a transcendental form, is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation and is therefore subject to temporary time of this material nature. As the material nature is manifested and not manifested, similarly, this universal form of Krishna is manifested and non-manifested. It is not eternally situated in the spiritual sky like Krishna's other forms. As far as a devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form, but because Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in this way, Krishna reveals this form. This universal form is not possible to be seen by any ordinary man. Krishna must give one the power to see it. Hare Krishna.
So this is a universal form. It is transcendental form because it is not available for anyone to see. It is not generally available, this form. It's transcendental, but it is a temporary form, only specific to this cosmic manifestation, only specific to this universe. It is not an eternal form like other forms of Krishna that exist in the Vaikuntha eternally, different Vaikuntha Loka planets. This is just for this particular universe at that at that point of time. So, but it is transcendental because anything to do with Krishna is transcendental. It is not material, but it is temporary. Yes, Kushimati, you had a question?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, do we have any temple of this Vishwarupa anywhere in India?
I don't know. We see it in the pictures somewhere in the in some publications we see, right? The universal form. But I don't know. Yes, Meena Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mandana. Mataji, we have a temple of Vishwarup in Pashupatinath.
In Nepal?
Yeah.
So Pashupatinath is a temple, right? Within that temple, there is universal form Vishwarupa temple.
Yes, Mataji. There are lots of temple within the area of Pashupatinath Kshetra. So there is one temple designated for Vishwarup only.
So how does a deity manifest with various heads?
Yes, Mataji, but I have not also seen it's closed always. It's always closed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You had anything, Palak?
Shri Krishna Mataji. Mataji, my question is, why did Krishna show Arjuna his true spiritual form that he has in Vaikuntha Loka? Why a material form?
It is not a material form, it's a transcendental form only, but specific to this universe. Like how he's pervading the universe, he wanted to understand that. Otherwise, he's seeing Krishna's form in front of him. 200 form Krishna is seeing. That is his spiritual body. Krishna and his body are non-different, right? What he's seeing is already a transcendental body. But he wanted to understand how he's maintaining this universe.
Hmm.
So Krishna has said that this is how I maintain with my various. There is 2-3 purposes why is Krishna showing him. He wanted to also show Arjuna that all these people, what is the status, what is the outcome of the war. That also he wanted to show, as well as he wanted to show his manifestation so that this is the way he manifests this universe. It's Vishwato Mukam. Remember, we have been hearing that word, universal form. This is that form, universal form. is Bahuda. It's like various different ways in which Krishna maintains. This is, a devotee is not interested in this form. Because for devotee, he wants where he can do worship and he can have an exchange, he can reciprocate with Krishna. That form is what devotee is looking. Devotee is not interested in the universal form. This is for those people who become, who want to see the God everywhere. So for them, even in the 9th chapter, right? Ekatvena, Prithvena, Bahuda, Vishwatomukha. Like some people worship me in the Ekatvena, like in oneness, like everything is one types, Brahman, like that. Some people worship me in various demigods. Some people worship me in the universal form. So this is that universal form that he is manifesting very temporary. And that is for the very people who have not spiritually matured. That form he says also in the 9th chapter. This is for those people who have not spiritually matured. So like that, this form is not for those. It is only to give that ghastly feeling to the people, and awe and reverence. Some people may become awe and reverent of Krishna by looking at that form. And also to show Arjuna that what is outcome of the battle. That also. That's why he's showing him this form. Because Arjuna asked for it. Otherwise, he's in front of him. Right? In front of him in the two-handed form. But Arjuna wanted to see his universal. That's why he's showing him.
So, Mataji, a follow-up question on the spiritual form of Krishna. So, if we, so just today in this Bhagavatam reading, I read somewhere where it said that if we go to Vaikuntha planets, then we attain spiritual form, which is also like a two-handed form, right? So I want to know that the faces. I was thinking about the faces at that time. So the if we say that during the Mahabharata time, the Krishna's appearance was of the spiritual form. So does Krishna appear in the Vaikuntha planets in that form itself, that with which he appeared in this world as well? Or is it completely different? And what kind of spiritual form do we attain? Do we have a face? And how is that structure of that face defined?
So when Krishna appeared, he is self-same Krishna that came here, right? So he's just like that in Goloka Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, Krishna is appearing as Goloka Vrindavan. In Dwaraka, he is appearing as Dwarkadish with all these like a kingly dressed up. So that is how he looks in Dwaraka. In Vrindavan, he looks like a cowherd boy. The same features are same. What people were seeing him in when he existed here 5,000 years ago, that is a form he is there in the spiritual world. He's like Navayavana, like Shyamasundara is Navayavana, only 16 years. That is how he is shown. That is how he is not shown, but that is how he is. So that's how you see. But your other question, it is a self-realization point. Like you have to realize your own self. And that depends on Krishna's mercy and your devotion. Nobody can reveal that to you. It has to be self. It has to be revealed. Again, this process of devotion is revealed to us as we go forward into the practices. It is revealed to us. We don't know now because we are not ready for it. We are not ready for prime time yet.
Got it. So can we say that if we are in Vaikuntha planets and we have this eternal form, then we also have a particular phase structure which is eternal and it stays like that?
So eternally,
Okay.
everything is like that. Like not just the body, everything, features and the body, everything is eternal.
Okay. Thank you, Mother.
So, Ramina Mataji, please repeat. Text 6. Pashyadityan vasoon rudran.
Pashyadityan vashun rudran.
Ashvinau marutastatha.
Ashvinau marutastatha.
Bahuni adrishta purvani.
Bahunya adishta purvani.
Paschaischarya bharata.
Pashyacharyani bharata.
The translation, O best of the Bharata, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Purport, please read.
Even though Arjuna was a personal friend of Krishna and the most advanced of a learned man, it was still not possible for him to know everything about Krishna. Here it is stated that humans have neither heard nor known of all these forms and manifestation. Now Krishna reveals these wonderful forms.
So Krishna is revealing his different ways. So this universal form comprises of Adityas, like everything, all the demigods. Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and various other demigods are also manifested within his. And nobody has seen. That is because it is for this temporary material manifestation, right? It is not an eternal form. That's why nobody has seen before. Everyone is seeing for the first time. Arjuna, Sanjaya, and the demigods. Demigods are also assembled there because they can see. They have that eyesight, so they're able to see. So they haven't seen also this kind of form before. So that's what this verse is about. Text 7. Begin, Prabhu. Text 7. Ihaikastam jagat krishnam
Ihaikastam Jagat-Krishnam
pashyadya cha sacharacharam
Pashyadya Sacharacharam
mama dehe gudakesha
Vamadehe Gudakesha
yachanya drashtumichasi.
Ichanya Drashtum Ichashi.
Translation: O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see, and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is here completely in one place. Purport, please read the book.
No one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything.
So Arjuna is able to see everything, the moving, non-moving, past, present, and the future. Is everything in one sitting. Like he's just sitting there or standing on the chariot, and Krishna is explaining, and then he's able to see everything in one place. That's not possible, right? Like when we see everything in place, that has to be something artificial. Like we can see everything in one place when we make photos of something, videos of some place, and present it in a video, then we see it, everything in one place. But imagine you sitting there somewhere and seeing that entire thing around you, without you moving. If you want to see something, you need to go there and see. For example, you go to a zoo. To see the animals, you need to keep going to one place to there. So much of walking you have to do. Like that for any garden also. Like you want to see garden, you keep moving into the garden. But imagine you're sitting one place in the garden and everything in the garden is visible to you all at once. That's not possible. But Krishna made it possible for Arjuna in this time. He was sitting there and everything, past, present, future, moving and non-moving, everything he could see in one place. So text 8. Vivek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Karthi. Natumam sakshase drashtum
न तु मां साक्ष्यसे द्रष्टुम्
anenaive swachakshusa
अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा
divyam dadami me chakshusu
दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुषु
pashyame yogamaishwaram.
पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्.
Sorry, that is chakshu, not chakshushu. It's chakshuhu only. Pashyame
Chakshu.
yogamaishwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Please read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind but his vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will not be cleared in that will be cleared in subsequent verses. Yet, because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in the transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami recites this verse, Itam Satatam Brahma Sukhanubhutya Dashyam Gatanam Paradaivatena Mayashritanam Naradarakena Sakam Vichahu Tirtha Punya Punjaha. Here, the Supreme Person, who is considered the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now, these boys who have performed many, many pious activities in their past lives are playing with that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.12.11. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing the Vishvarupa, the universal form, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statement so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of all the parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually revealed himself as the Supreme. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal form because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is saying, you cannot see me with your ordinary sight. Let me give you divine eyes. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. So behold my mystic opulences. So my yoga, my Ishwaram is so much that behold it. I'll give you special eyes, special divine eyes, because you cannot see with your present eyes. Now, what's the difference between Arjuna and the boys of Vrindavan, where Krishna is playing? Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's divine or universal form, and the boys of Vrindavan, even if you present to him the divine position of Krishna, they will just say, no, he is some demigod. He is nothing to do with any divine power. He is just our friend. He is just displaying his opulence as a demigod. That is how they think. So they can't accept his Aishwarya mood. Those are in pure, like pure love. So they cannot accept this Aishwarya. This Arjuna is able to, because he's Aishwarya Yukta devotee. He's not Aishwarya Jnana Yukta devotee. He's not that. He's a devotee, pure devotee itself, but tinged with Aishwarya Bhav. Whereas the cowherd boys of Vrindavan, they are pure devotees. They won't accept Krishna as a god. They just know him as his friend. Now this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 12, 11 verse, which is very beautiful verse. Sukadeva Goswami says, Ittam satam brahma sukhanubhat bhutya dashyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shitanam naradarakena shakam vicharahu kritapunya punjaha. Means, so these boys who have, what have they done in their previous lives? How many millions of pious lives they have done or passed, and in the devotional service of the Lord, that they now got the chance to play with the Lord. This pastime is Aghasura pastime. After Krishna kills Aghasura, and the boys enter into the Aghasura's body, and Krishna goes and kills Aghasura, and the boys come out, and they are like normal. They don't even think that something happened to them. Just simply they are playing a game, not even thinking, oh, how wonderful Krishna is. They might have just said it just for the sake, because they had some nice ecstatic feeling that having gone and become unconscious and came out of Aghasura's body. So to that extent, they just tell him, oh, so it was so wonderful, so nice, Krishna, thank you so much. But then they start praying to him, offering obeisances and expressing prayers. No, they don't. They just go on playing with him. So what have these boys have done? Sukadeva Goswami is wondering, how much pious activities have they done in their past lives, so many past lives, that they are now able to play with the Lord. So these are those, even if you express some wondrous things to those cowherd boys, they won't consider it as something great. They just move on. But for Arjuna, it had to be shown, because Arjuna is not same category devotee, is like nothing less in his cadre as a devotee, but his mood is different. His Aishwarya is tinged with Aishwarya. So he has seen that, and now what happens to Arjuna after seeing, we'll see. The same theme continues, because the boys here, even after seeing so much of greatness of Krishna, they will not consider it. They think it is ordinary and then move on. But when Arjuna gets this beautiful experience, we'll see what he does. So devotees are not interested in this Vishwarupa, like we said. They don't want it. Only Arjuna asked it so that for the future generations not to copy Krishna. And also he wanted to experience that in theory, in practical. Are any hands up? Yes, Palak.
Mataji, so this is my premise is that your spiritual progress is not lost with different births, right? Multiple births. So you always progress further, and the realizations you have, they also come along. So these boys of Vrindavan, they must have also realized at a point that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So how come they do not acknowledge it, they do not remember it, and they do not want to worship Krishna for what he is? Why is that?
This is a stage higher than that mode of worship, right? They have come to that stage much higher than in awe and reverence. Mode of worship is awe and reverence. We are all recommended to do that because we haven't realized our spiritual positions. But for these boys, they have made progress further. Like the person at home, your relatives at home, or your family members at home, do they keep thinking of you as a great CEO in the company who is giving salaries to people? Is a boss to say hundreds and thousands of workers in the company? Are they having that awe and reverence feeling? Although they know that you are the boss in outside organization, but at home you are their loving family member. So they know it, but that's not important for them. That mood won't overpower them, because then then it becomes awe and reverence. That closeness will not be there. When they start thinking, oh, he's a CEO, let me respect him, then there is a Krishna family feeling. So it's like that. So these boys have matured even further than that stage where his greatness is being. They just go it, think about it. Yeah, he's a great person, some demigod, some who has come to help us, and stronger than us for sure. But then he's like one among us. And then they move like that.
Right. Very beautiful analogy, Mataji. I could relate it to it completely. Like how even a CEO of the family would want his family to treat him like a family member for what he is to them and not for what he's outside of the family doing in the professional life. Very relatable.
Yes. So you want to add anything?
No, I just want to check how to understand this properly, Mataji.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Still very low, but I can try.
Okay. It is mentioned here Now these boys who have performed many pious activities in their past lives are playing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how do we understand these pious activities here? Because generally we see the progression in spiritual life is more devotional service. But here Sukadeva Goswami mentioning pious activities. So how do we understand it properly?
So here the pious activities are not those where you get reactions, where you have to, it's not karma kandik pious activities. Spiritual activities are also pious, right? Are they not pious? They are pious. They are not just karma kandik. There is no reaction to that. But they are, they have done so much of piety, like Bhaktionmukhi Sukruti is what they have. They have done so much of devotional service. Now they are born as Krishna's friends. So it
We
is not
can
that, it is not pious in the like karma kandik definition.
so we can think like as a nishkama karma, like they were kind of doing it for Krishna as a center in their life, like that.
Yeah, that is Nishkama karma is a step much lower, right? We have seen. It's like you're still doing activities and
So
offering
it's
as
a
a result.
devotional service.
Yeah, it's devotion. Like Prabhupada has clubbed, made our life easy so that everything becomes devotion service. But they are like totally dedicated to the Lord from so many past lives. Nishkama karma is in the yoga ladder is much lesser than the bhakti, right?
Yes, Mataji. At one point, it comes like Nishkama Karma Yoga also like a Bhakti Yoga, like when
Yes, it is, but we are
in the
still in
flow.
the work in the ladder of bhakti. Sorry, in that ladder, it's one rung lower than the pure devotion service.
So
For
they have done that pure
yeah,
devotion service in many lifetimes,
yeah,
and they achieved this opportunity to be with Krishna.
right. So
And
yeah,
yes. I just follow up question for me, Mataji, like for me to understand, like, is it like how like the living entities, like are we were ever there in the spiritual world and fall down, or we were here and we are have to go back to spiritual world?
that's a very classic question, Prabhu. I have asked that question many times, and I was said that is a classic question. Classic answers are there for that. So for a it is said that a living entity as having gone, they will never come back. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, one who goes to that planet will never return. Also, it is said that there are two types of devotees, Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. They are eternally liberated and eternally conditioned. Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. So, but the time is such that now we are talking about our Brahma, which is 312 trillion years. So in from our point of view, it almost looks like eternity. It's almost from the whole gamut of time. If you take the whole time as a factor and see, it's just a one fraction. Mahavishnu's breathing. It just breathes, something happens. That is 312 trillion years. For us, what is it? 100 years. We can't even imagine 100 years in the current day and age. We're speaking of 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000, then million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, and so on, trillions. And then there are 312 trillion years of Brahma's life. And from how many times the living entity is taking birth within that? Maybe a few million times, maybe billion times, or maybe trillion times. So from that perspective, the living entity is, but the living entity looks eternal. But the time's perspective, it is just a fraction from Mahavishnu's perspective. And is plenary portion of Krishna. Mahavishnu is not Krishna himself directly doing that, right? Mahavishnu, Krishna expands as Balaram, Balaram expands into 4 Chaturvyuhas. Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. From Shankarshana comes another 4 same set. From that Shankarshana comes Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and Karna. Sorry, Karnodakshaya, Garbhodaksha, and Kshirodaksha is where the living entities, each and every. So from his position is that, and the living entity's position is It looks eternal. For the ant, our 100 years or our 1 year also for the ant, how much time it is from the ant's perspective. So it's relative. It is relative. So from the ordinary conditioned soul's perspective, it can appear as eternity, but from a liberated soul's perspective, it is a fraction, like a second, like that. So this are various ways to look at it. So we cannot simply say that we have never been there, and when we fall also, for examples, living entities do not fall, okay, from the spiritual world. But then they have a free will also. So we don't know how this will work. But when they fall, it is not they're falling to the nth step. Like I give the example of when someone falls, they're not falling on the right down last step. They're falling on the first step. Fall. They fall there. They have a choice to go back from there. If not, they'll come to the next. From there to next. From there to next. Fall is down. So from here to go up back is very long. That's my understanding of Nityabadha and Nitya Siddhas. So it is very relative. Not
Mataji,
one answer.
where can we get more philosophical information about these two, Nityabadha and Nitya Mukta? And you can able to refer, can you refer any books or anything written by acharyas or someone?
No problem. This is all Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam purport says that even Bhagavad Gita, we probably will not go through that much because Prabhupada would be very conscious to put such bigger terminology in Bhagavad Gita's purports. It's Bhagavatam. We read Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then you can go and read other Acharyas' books, but Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you can read these 2-3 books very quickly, not keeping it as a lifetime endeavor, but quickly reading them, you'll get a lot of realizations from these texts. And reading scrutinizingly is one other thing, like line by line, scrutinizingly is what should. When we say something, hear something, we need to understand it very, going into the details. So that way, then these things will be revealed to you. And purports are there. It's not from any other book I would have gotten that message, but it is from purports.
Thank you.
Thank you. 10th. Now Sanjay is speaking. Deepali, you are there today? Yes, we'll read. Sanjaya Vacha
Yes, Mataji.
Evam Ukva Tato Rajan
Sanjay Uvacha Eva Muktatva Tato Rajan
Mahayogeshwaro Harihi
Mahayogeshwaro Harihi
Darshayamasha Parthaya
Darshayam Asha Parthaya
Paramam Rupam Aishwaram.
Paramam Rupam Aishwaryam.
Translation. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the supreme lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So Arjuna, Sanjaya is also speaking. Like we said, only if Arjuna says and demigods say, who has seen demigods? But people have seen Sanjaya during that battlefield time. So if Arjuna is saying, Sanjaya is also saying, sitting in front of Dhritarashtra. So he's narrating that to the king. Dhritarashtra, O king, having spoken thus, the supreme lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form. Now, why Sanjaya is saying here? Because Krishna and Arjuna are busy actually. Krishna is displaying and Arjuna is seeing. Now, who will say that? Someone else has to say that, okay, they both are seeing each other in that form. So Sanjaya is now also seeing and relaying that to Dhritarashtra. Yes.
Sorry, Mataji, did I understand it correctly that even Sanjaya got that vision then?
Yeah. Sanjaya is also given that vision by
Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva.
Very interesting.
That vision.
So why could he not see it before? Like, why did he had to wait for Krishna to show something, Sanjay should be already realized because he has all the vision, isn't it?
So Sanjay was given that eyesight also. He didn't have that eyes to see. Sorry, I didn't get the question. What did you say?
So I'm saying that Krishna had to give that vision to Arjuna for him to be able to see his
Yes, sir.
universal form, right? So if Sanjay already had it, then why did he had not to be given that vision by Krishna? He already had it.
He didn't
So
have it. It was given by Vyasadeva.
in that moment, like even he got the blessing to view
Yes,
it.
it was given by Vyasadeva to Sanjaya to see.
So we read that in the initial chapters that Sanjay got the vision to see far-sighted things, some events happening in different uh, places because of the blessing from Vyasadeva. Is this vision different than the vision that he got to see
No.
Krishna's form?
It is that same vision because this happened on the first day of the battle, right? The talk between Krishna and Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the day one of battle. Because the first day itself, Krishna and Arjuna were having this conversation. But the dialogue between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra is happening as in day 4 or what day is it? Anybody knows? Not on the same day as it was happening. It happened a few days after a few days. I guess when Bhishma Dev falls, if I remember it correctly, or maybe I may be distorting, don't quote me, but it definitely not on the day of when they were speaking Bhagavad Gita. It happened much later. So, in order for Sanjaya to relay what is happening, he is first starting with what was happened in the beginning of the battle, which is where the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna is. After that, he is narrating him all the incidents that is happening. Sitting in his assembly in his room, not in the assembly, it is sitting in his room, Dhritarashtra is able to relate what is happening on the battlefield from his room, which is his servant, Sanjay is explaining it to him. Because he is seeing it with that vision on the battle. From the day one. From the day one, he's seeing. So in the day one, what all happened, he saw in his vision. And he relayed that to Dhritarashtra. From then onwards, he's seeing every day. So it's a vision that was given to him by Vyasadeva.
So given that Krishna showed that Rupa to Arjuna on the very first day, and Sanjay was already on the battlefield on the first day.
No,
so when Krishna
he wasn't. Or probably he was there on the battlefield and he returned to his home.
That was later, right?
It was later. That is when he is given the ability to see. He's narrating the incident.
Always had it?
No. How can he see from his room what's happening on the battlefield? Is a conditioned soul.
Okay. So does that mean, my understanding was that Sanjay had everlasting, that vision was everlasting for him. No, it was just for that moment so that he could recite everything to Dhritarashtra.
Yes.
Oh,
Not the moment. Srinivas Prabhu, you have?
Mataji, like as far as I may be wrong, but as far I remember, actually he was seeing live. Like he was not there in the battlefield. He was besides Dhritarashtra, and in fact, even Vyasadeva said he can give the divine vision to even Dhritarashtra also to go to see everything, but Dhritarashtra rejected. He said he can't see that. He can't take it. Then that vision was given. It's a live, like as we are watching live TV or matches cricket. So it was the live how this was bestowed by his spiritual master Vyasadeva, where he was sitting in his room and explaining what exactly happening there. And that is how it even when India started the channel, they mentioned Doordarshan. We remember like when first channel. So what I heard is like this is a live, like he was not in the battlefield, he was just with him, with his master, because he was a personal assistant. So he was explaining everything what is happening there.
Yes, but not on the day one. He's explaining live.
I may be wrong, Mataj, but I as far as my memory goes, it was it happened before the war, and it was happening live. That's what
We can
I may be
clarify that, but what I am understanding is when someone fell on the ground in the battle, that's when Dhritarashtra becomes curious to know what has happened. And this is not on the day one when this Bhagavad Gita is being spoken from Dhritarashtra Vacha, Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, the first verse, is not on the day one of the battle. It is much later, little few days later, when something happened, and then Dhritarashtra wants to understand what happened, and then Sanjay is given that side to relay him what is happening on the battlefield. So it starts from the day one. Day one is what this happened, when Arjuna becomes overcome by compassion and all that. So Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Followed by that, he'll explain what is happening till the end, probably, until, because after that it becomes live. But because he's now catching up with what has happened, highlights he's giving is what I am understanding. I can be also wrong, but we can confirm that.
So, Mataji, just to conclude this, is it like, why was it so important for everybody, for Dhritarashtra to know everything, that Sanjay had to be given that power? Because from what I'm getting from what you explained is that before the war started, Sanjay did not have any sort of visions. He got that vision so that he could recite that thing to Dhritarashtra. Why was it so important?
So this is all given in the verse 1. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So that's what Dhritarashtra is saying in the beginning, first verse, chapter 1, verse 1, where after having assembled in the battle in the Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra, which is a place of all religious principles, the Dharmakshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu did? Because in the purport, Prabhupada explains, this place is a place for all the religious things to propagate. There cannot be any unreligious activities happening on that particular place, because it's a religious place. So the Kurukshetra is a Dharma Kshetra. And then just as in the paddy fields, Prabhupada also quotes, just as in the paddy fields, weeds come out and the weeds are eradicated. So it is like these Kurus, the Kauravas are like the weeds in the paddy field. They'll be eradicated. So Dhritarashtra is not, they say he is blinded by the vision of his sight as well as by the knowledge, but he was not all that blind. He had some knowledge. He knows what is the position of his sons and the position of Pandavas. And knowing that Krishna is on their side, he knows the outcome in one sense, that my sons cannot take over Arjuna, the Pandavas, because Krishna is on their side. He also knows Krishna's position. But he's so blinded with his knowledge and by his side that he cannot overcome his affection for his son. And he was fully aware what would be the outcome. And because he was having that fear in his heart, he was asking that question. I don't know if I answered you, maybe I took you directly in a different way. But your point was, why is he asking? He's asking because he knows he's scared that my sons might be losing this battle.
Sorry, Mataji. No, that was not my question. My question was, so what I got was, I'm so sorry this went so long, but my understanding is that Sanjay got this vision just to recite everything to Dhritarashtra. So anything before the war and anytime after the war, if you ask Sanjay what is happening in XYZ place, he will never be able to tell.
No, he won't. He was given
Right.
special permission to see during the war time.
Mm.
He's not of that, he's a very pious person,
Mm.
Sanjaya. That's
Okay.
why he was chosen to do that service. But he didn't have this vision to see beyond.
Got it. Yes,
Why?
that answers
Because
that.
Dhritarashtra wanted to see, because Dhritarashtra had a doubt in his heart, what would be the outcome also.
Mm.
Sorry,
Thank you,
I
Mataji.
went on a little tangent.
No. Thank you so much.
Narnarayan Prabhu, text 11 and 12.
Hare Krishna.
Aneka vaktum nayanam
Aneka vatra nayanam
अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम्
अनेकभूतदर्शनम्
अनेकदिव्याभरणम्
अनेकदिव्याभरणम्
दिव्यानेकोदयाद्यदायुधम्
दिव्यानेकोद्यतयुधमम्
दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम्
दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम्
दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम्
दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम्
सर्वैश्चर्यामयं देवम्
सर्वश्चर्यामयं देवम्
अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्.
अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्.
Translation: Arjuna saw that in that universal form, unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, and all expanding. Please read purport.
Purport. In these two verses, the repeated words of the word many indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs, and other manifestations Arjuna was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna.
So this universal form was now revealed to Arjuna with a special sight. He could see unlimited forms, unlimited heads, unlimited eyes, mouths, visions. So and they are all decorated nicely. They are all celestial and decorated with divine sense and smeared all over the body. It's wonderful to see. Ever expand, it is expanding also on the top of it. It's brilliant, wondrous, unlimited, and all expanding. It's growing. Vishwatomukha. That is how we could see. 12. Kanika, please repeat. You're there?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I was on mute.
No worries. Dividurya sahasrasya
Diti Surya Sahasarya
bhaved yugapad uttita
Bhaved Yugapad Uttita
yadi bhasadrishi sasyad
Yadi Bhasasradi Sasyad
vasastasya mahatmanaha.
Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha.
If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Is it purport?
Put. What Arjuna saw was indescribable. Yet Sanjaya is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjaya nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomenon, that is, thousands of suns.
So he's now trying to relate, because nobody can see that beautiful vision, that wonderful vision of Vishwarupa. But he had to give that some kind of assessment to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is blind. He could not even see sun, but for generally, he wouldn't have experience of the sun with his within his experience, like how sun feels when there is sun, some bright light somewhere, like that. So imagine if that one sun becomes 1,000 suns, how much bright light it would be. That is how he's trying to narrate it. It's nothing can be comparable to the Vishwarupa form. Neither hundreds and thousands of suns also. It's beyond that. But for the comparison purpose, it has to be. Like people say, he's beautiful, she's beautiful like a moon. Where is moon? Where is the beauty of the person, right? Like in the sense, like she may be more beautiful than moon. But then to give that comparison, some baseline, they compare it as beautiful like moon and radiant like sun. Just for the comparison, just to have some relativity, some baseline for us. So he said that. Text 13. Uma Mataji. Tatrekastam jagatkrishnam
Tatraikastam Jagat Krishnam
pravibhaktam anekada
रविभक्तम् अनेकदा
अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य
अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य
शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Please read purport.
The word Tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on this chariot, Arjuna could see all these. But no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna.
Yeah. So this vision was provided only to Arjuna, not to everyone. Everyone were thinking what's happening between these two people. They are having some discussion and they were thinking, and Arjuna could see that universal form just with Krishna expanded himself into that universal form, although no one else could see that. This is unlimited form only available to Arjuna. Yeah. So we can read one more words today, I guess, until 14. Although we have to stop at 13, I will continue to 14. Yashita Mataji, text 14. Tata sa vishmaya vishto
तथा स विस्मयाविष्टो
Hrishtharoma Dhananjaya
हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जय
Pranamya Shirasha Devam
प्रणमय शिरसा देवं
Kritanjalir Abhasata.
कृताञ्जलिरभाषत.
Let's read more. Tataha, thereafter, saha he, Vishmaya Avishtataha, being overwhelmed with wonder. Hishtaroma, with his bodily hair standing on end due to his great ecstasy. Dhananjaya, Arjuna, Pranamya, offering obeisances. Shirasa, with the head. Devam, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kritanjali, with folded hands. Abhasta, began to speak. For translation. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Please read.
Once the divine vision is revealed, the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna changes immediately. Before, Krishna and Arjuna had a relationship based on friendship. But here, after the revelation, Arjuna is offering obeisances with great respect, and with folded hands he is praying to Krishna. He is praising the universal form. Thus, Arjuna's relationship becomes one of a wonder rather than friendship. Great devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationships. In the scriptures, there are 12 basic kinds of relationships mentioned, and all of them are present in Krishna. It is said that he is the ocean of all relationships exchanged between the two living entities, between the gods, between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Here, Arjuna was inspired by the relationship of wonder, and in that wonder, although he was by nature very sober, calm, and quiet, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up, and he began to offer his obeisances unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. He was not, of course, afraid. He was affected by the wonders of the Supreme Lord. The immediate context is wonder. His natural loving friendship was overwhelmed by wonder, and thus he reacted in this way.
So here this verse talks about how the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna changed. Arjuna, although he was being a friend, he is a friend to Krishna, but his situation changed. His mood changed to that of a awe and reverent devotee. So he started to offer obeisances by bowing his head. Now the rasa that has been explained here is that of Adbhuta rasa, wonder. wondrous than friendship. So what are the five, it is said in the purport, there are 5 relationships with Krishna can be in 12 forms. Some are primary, 5 are primary and 7 are secondary. The primary are that of Santya, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. Those are the relationships or the rasas that one can have. And then there are secondary like Adbhuta, wondrous, chivalrous, ghastliness. I don't remember all the 7 that are the secondary ones, but out of that, one of that is wondrous. And chivalry is what that Bhishma Dev experienced with Krishna is like in the fighting spirit. His wondrous is when he becomes, that mood is very wonderful, oh, wonderful Krishna. So that is the mood he gets into. And then he gets into that Bhayanak also. Then he becomes fearful also later on in the next verses. But here he is still experiencing that wonderful feeling. He's a reservoir of, although from the friendship he's become into the wonderful relationship. Like that. So, should we continue or will we pause here for the day? We'll continue from 15th tomorrow. I think we have 52 verses or 42 verses. Next week only we'll be completing. 52, I think.
55, Mataji, I think. 55.
More than that?
55 total.
55, okay, yeah. Yeah, so 2 more tomorrow and next week also. Any questions on this? Yes.
Mataji, my question is about this assignment. We need to submit it, the PDF files. Is there any email or something, Mataji? I think assignment deadline is 15th March, right?
No, the assignment, I think OB is today or tomorrow, Mataji. I think that's the deadline. And there was a link shared with us. So we have to submit it through that. But the timing wasn't specified. Like last time they gave us a deadline timing. But Haladani Gopika Mataji shared a link in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, I will check that, Mataji. And deadline is today?
Today or tomorrow. I think that's what she put 8th and 9th. I think that's the schedule. Please let me know if anyone else disagrees, but I think those are the 2 days.
Yes, Debbie, that was the day I was also targeting too.
Sachima Mataji, do you know the timeline of when it's due by any chance, the OBA, or is that something Haladani Gopika Mataji has to tell us as well? Last time, Lalitangi Radha Mataji told us the timeline of what time we have to finish the OBA and submit it. So that's what we're wondering. Is it like, I think last time, do you remember the time it was? It was like in the evening, right? 6 something on Sunday? Do you remember, Toshi Mataji? Or
It was 8, but this time,
8 p.m. Okay.
This time Mataji gave everything ahead to avoid confusions.